I'm glad to be here, and yeah, I have a little bit different topic, but I think it would be interesting. I'm technical artist, as you mentioned, and as well as researcher at Graz University of Technology. And in this presentation, I will talk about some general aspects in virtual reality technology and why it's technology for every discipline or everyone. And also, I will share some of the topics that we are currently working on. It might be interesting for you, or maybe you can also choose it for future study, research, or a part of your development. And now the virtual reality has a different area of application. Not only in entertainment industry, I mean not only in the game, movie, and such a these industries that provide you with some content. In addition, they also give you the opportunity to apply this technology into the variety of other industry or applications. For example, it can be a tool inside the game development, or it can be a tool for virtual production. It can be an environment for education, or it can be, again, technology for education. In the industry, it has applications. It has application in medical and therapies. It has a very nice application in digital twin, and also it's, again, a tool or area for research. Let's begin with the game industry. Virtual reality in game industry can be used in the two main way. Either it's a result of the work that you will provide to the users, like something like Half-Life Alyx, that it's a full-fledged game and you will play it. Or it can be a tool to create your assets or do the level design. It's totally a new era in this topic, and it can help us a lot with getting advantage of this technology. For the asset creation, there are several tools and software that use the VR technology for creating assets. One of the main benefits of using the virtual reality technology in creating assets is that it's giving you a new dimension when you are working. If you have any experience with 3D modeling or drawing in the normal way, you know that inside the 3D environment, you have a 2D plane that you are adding all of the information according to that 2D plane, even if you're looking at your model in the 3D space. This 3D space will be converted from the screen space into the 2D plane, and according to the normal of that 2D plane, all of the points that you're pointing will be projected into the 3D environment. But it means that you do not have actually access to each point of that 3D environment. Virtual reality is providing us the opportunity to actually work in 3D environment. It means your hand movement is already in the 3D scene, and it gives you lots of benefits. For example, when you are doing the sculpting, you have the feeling of the objects when you're sculpting it, because you can easily rotate, you can rotate yourself, and also your hand is moving in 3D. And it's helping you to also have much better spatial understanding about the environment. There are several tools for this, as I mentioned. For example, Gravity Sketch is one of the famous one that provides the possibility of creating models either for as a somehow sculpture, not professionally sculpture, but somehow sculpture, or creating a model by drawing, for example, a spline, or also creating CAD models. Medium by Adobe is available for Oculus devices, and the new tool, again by Adobe and Substance Group, that calls Adobe 3D Creator or Modeler, or Adobe 3D Modeler, that it's a sculpting tool and modeling tool both on PC and in VR, and the VR experience is much nicer. This one is not released, I think, yet, but the beta version should be available very soon. In addition to the asset creation, we can also use VR for the level design in the game industries. The benefit of using VR for the level design is very simple. Just imagine that whenever you are working in game engine, I mean about the 3D environment, When you want to move an object in the 3D scene, you always need to rotate your camera in the correct position that you want to move it, and then start to move the object. It means first your hands needs to move the scene, and then again you need another action to move the objects. But in VR, you have the feeling that you have two additional hands that can control the scene environment, because the VR headset is connected to your head, and your head is moving as a camera, and it can increase your creation and productivity speed by a lot. As an example of this application is the Unreal Engine VR toolkit that is providing you the initial setup for designing your level inside the virtual reality. For example, manipulating using the pie menu to selecting different devices, grabbing object, placing it somewhere, or seeing your scene from the 3D view, scale objects, and all of the things that you need to design your level. When we see the application of virtual reality for level design, we may think with ourselves why we do not use it for virtual production. Using the virtual reality for virtual production, it can improve productivity in such a condition like our last 2 years during the pandemic, because you do not need to be always on scene. You can experience the environments that you need inside the virtual environment, and it can improve your productivity. You can move some of the steps from the post-processing, post-production steps into the pre-production or real-time phase, and it's a great achievement using this technology. And also you can see your scene before the final products. You can know what it will look like easily. Also, you can now convert your real camera into the virtual camera. If you take a look at that top picture here, you can see it's a picture by Vive, the Vive group that providing the HTC Vive VR headsets. They use the tracker on top of the camera and also the light sensors with the HTC Vive controller to make a virtual camera that can move inside the virtual scene, but it's coming from the actual camera data. Also, from the cost, it's cost effective, and it's cost benefits and the resource efficient. It can reduce the cost of the project. For example, maybe you heard about the Mandalorian project, that's the Star Wars project that they start to maybe produce this TV series using the Unreal Engine and virtual production workflow. The video on the bottom, you can find some parts of it. Recently, also the game engines are going more towards this virtual production area. For example, Unity acquired Veta Digital, that is famous for the VFX, and they released also a new video called Enemy that is very high quality video, and it shows that they are thinking more about this path. Also 2 years ago, I think roughly 2 years ago, Unreal Engine also acquired Quixel, and after that they also introduced the MetaHuman curator. It shows that, and also there are many videos from Unreal Engine that shows they are thinking about virtual production as a serious topic for their game engine, and they are producing lots of tools that can improve this production workflow. For example, MetaHuman can easily give you access to creating high quality and realistic humans or characters. However, it's limited now, but it's for free and you can test it inside the engine. I had already experience for one of my courses that I tested with also the NVIDIA technology for audio to facial movement and facial rigging. And I converted my voice into the facial rig, then converted that facial rig into the Unreal Engine using the MetaHuman, and created a short video to introduce my lecture as a start of that lecture. And it was less than 1 day work, and I didn't know anything before I start, but I learned everything in less than 1 day and start using it. And it's one of the benefits of having all of these tools freely available. Another topic that virtual reality can be very, very helpful is education. It's one of the topics that we are also doing our studies around it. Virtual reality for education can provide several benefits to the either educator or students. For example, it can represent the spatial knowledge and it can make it easier to understand the spatial environment. It's very important, for example, for architectural engineering students to understand the environment, the spatial feeling of it. Also, it can provide a better experiential learning. You can make a totally physics lab inside the virtual environment. I will show you some example of it. It will help you to understand the one experience in any field of study in much cheaper and more repetitive way. Also, it's much safer because you are not encountering all of the dangers that may happen in the laboratories, and you can design it according to your needs. You can modify it, you can make several studies, you can assess the students' performance inside it, and it gives you lots of flexibility. Also, it can increase the engagement of the students because it's more interactive way of the learning, and also it's always interesting to see how everything can be a gameful experience. It can also improve the contextual learning because you're encountering the daily life experience or daily life learning things inside the virtual environment. And it can be useful as a collaborative learning environment because you can, and as you know, for example, after introduction of the consumer-based virtual reality devices, and also recently by introduction of the Oculus Quest 2, that is affordable a virtual reality device, but it also provides high quality interaction and high quality displays. It means many people can use it as a personal device. It's not only a device for the labs. And if your student has this device, then they can use it together and be in the same environment and interact with each other. The use cases of virtual reality for education is very broad, from medicine and health that we will talk about it a little bit more later in one of the slides, to the history and social studies, because we can provide some information, historical information or historical visualization easily inside the virtual environment, the things that you need to travel to somewhere to see them. Also, it's useful for science education. As I mentioned, for example, you can use it for the educating, for teaching the physics aspects or chemistry aspects or other stuff. It can be useful very highly on engineering and industry education, either as a training for the engineers or as a teaching tool for students. Also, one of the things that we are recently using is in computer science, because there's some fundamental computer science, for example, sorting algorithm. Maybe it's much more understandable if the students can already interact with it and see it in the virtual environment. There are many papers talking about language learning inside a virtual environment and improve the efficiency of language learning using this technology. And also it can be a tool for teacher education. As an example of the things that we are currently using inside our lab and we are developing it is a virtual classroom using the VR. During the pandemic, it's more dominant that we need such these things. The benefit of this, you can see in different pictures that I put here. Teacher can wear VR device and be in this classroom and use all of the different tables or different whiteboards and sliders or windows that are available in there. In this case, student has several options. Either always see the view angle of the teacher and the points that she or he is drawing on the board, or they can see the environment as a third person view and always have access to all of this information. In addition, they can also interact with the teacher or communicate with the teacher using the chat menu, something like Twitch chats, that it will be shown as a part of this scene. And a student can ask the question, teacher can read, answer them, or yeah, many other things. Also, we provide the possibility of importing PDFs here that to directly present the actual presentation. And on top of that PDF, teacher can start to draw something or explain in more detail. I think it's a very nice experience, and it's the interactive one. The other project that we are currently working on it for a couple of years, and we are improving it every day, is a Maroon project. If you search for it, Maroon Telegrats, you can find the link for this project. It's started as a physics laboratory, but currently it's extended into the computer science, chemistry, and other fields. The benefit of this project, I will play a short video of the environment. It has several labs inside the one intro hall. Students can go to each lab, and according to the requirement of that lab or the topic of that lab, they will see the specific experiment in there. They can start to do the experiment, change all of the parameters that will influence that experiment, and see the influence. Also, later, a teacher can use this environment for the assessing the student learning and how much they learned already, because we are using actual equations or the actual algorithm that's needs for a specific experiment. On the right hand side, you see that the main hall at the start of this video is made from several smaller areas, that in each one of them there is one or two experiments, and we are attaching them according to the need of the teacher. Teacher can decide which levels he or she wants to be in that hall, and what's the topic of education. And here we can see a picture of this environment with several stages that the student can go. For example, on the left stage, they can see the actual equation, the basics. On the right hand side, there is a quest that they should do in this level. And in the middle part, there is an actual experiment. On the right one is the experiment itself, and on the left one are the controllers and the sliders. And also, as a fun fact, we took some of the ideas for this specific lab from Rick and Morty TV series. It was fun. Yeah. Okay. The next project that we are currently also working on it, we recently started this one, and it's also supported by Epic Mega Grants. It's called Project Chimera. It has some similarity with Maroon project, and it's totally different from the other aspects. The main idea of this project is we would like to teach the students something, but why we should tell them to start learn this? Maybe they will learn them at the end. They will learn many things during the games that we play, and why we do not do this? And the Chimera is something like this, that it has actually one story and somehow it's a full-fledged game. You will play the game, but beside this game, you will learn also some content. The main idea of this game is there is a spaceship that is not working. It's just hit maybe errors for a long time, and the user should go into this spaceship and start to fix the spaceship and make it working again. But this fixing should be done during several levels, and in each level it's somehow connected to one experiment or to one scientific approach. For example, the first level is electromotors and how they works. But we are not telling them, okay, it's an electromotor, it's an equation for the electromotor, it's how the electromotor is using the magnet and other stuff to work. We are just giving them some tasks like any games, and the user should follow the task, and in meanwhile, they will also make electromotor to work. You can see some of the pictures. We try to keep the quality of this game somehow, not exactly, but somehow in a AAA game level. The main locomotion system for this game for now is teleportation. On this picture, you see the teleportation icon. This spaceship has one main elevator in the middle. A user can use this elevator to access different levels. The elevator is this picture, and inside the elevator you have the level choice, and you can select the levels with very interesting interaction. And as a start of this level, and also to make it a little bit more storytelling style, we have some routes that is because the spaceship is ruined for a long time. The routes is already taking out the batteries. User should start to cut the routes and place the batteries, then charging the batteries using the magnets, and then finding the appropriate parts for the electromotor to make it working. It's a short story for this project as an example of using virtual reality in educational content. The next topic that virtual reality can be used is inside the industries. Several industries can get benefits from virtual reality. One of the famous one, and one of them that maybe you know more, is automotive industries, that for visualization and also for checking different part of the a vehicle. They can use the virtual reality and they can manipulate inside it. They can change it. They can see the car in actual size. As you know, previously they used that sculpture of car that made out of clay. It's very expensive and it's not easily to modify, but nowadays they can use this technology to easily navigate through the visualization. Also, it's very helpful in architectural engineering. They can use virtual reality to see the building or the design of the city that they are working on it in more immersive way. One of the biggest topic after the entertainment that the virtual reality has a maybe a big advantage in there is medical and therapies. Virtual reality for medical applications can be used in three main ways, either as educational and experimental environment, as I mentioned before, or as a platform to enhance sustainable healthcare, or as a technology for diagnostic or treatment of physical or mental diseases. In this slide, you can see some of the examples of using virtual reality technology, for example, for learning surgery. They can do it as a collaborative environment. They can provide the hints and the steps that they should do, and they can actually use the devices and see the necessary information inside this environment. For all of these slides, I put also the YouTube link that you can watch the full videos. One of the topics that I recently worked on it is a reviewing on the application of virtual reality for the treatment of anxiety and mental disorder. In this case, it can be useful for many type of disorders, from post-traumatic stress disorder, generalized anxiety, specific phobia, and even the pain reduction. For example, just imagine that for the patients that has the has already burned, maybe the treatment is very difficult and it's very painful. They can use virtual reality to distract the user from the actual environment and start the treatment during this time, and it has some beneficial points. Or for post-traumatic stress disorder, it can recreate or reimagine the environments that maybe triggered some specific feeling for the user or for the patient to solve that issue. It's more obvious, for example, for a specific phobia, and that whenever you have a phobia of a specific object or environment, you can recreate it to treat this problem. And advantage of virtual reality against the traditional workflows in the medical and therapy application is, first of all, it's fully immersive. Users do not need to imagine something, it's actually in there. And also it's modular. It means the doctor or the therapist can design the environment and a learning environment that should provide it to the user. It gives them lots of benefits and lots of flexibility. The other things, it can be easily repetitive. You can repeat it 10 times per week. You can repeat it 2 times per day, and you're not limited by the budget, or you're not limited by the area. And also, it gives a possibility to the users that they test it themselves at their place. They do not need to be always at the hospital or at the office of the therapist. And this fact will lead to reduction in the dropout rate of the patients. We also do recently another study, and we already started this. It's in the beginning stage to use the virtual reality for memory training. Here we can see an example of it that we created a sample supermarket area. It will be used later for dementia and Alzheimer patients. We gave them a list, a shopping list, and they should remember it and try to buy the items. This experiment can be run on Oculus Quest 2 easily, and user can use the hand interaction to grab objects and place in the shopping cart and see the results. And we will run more studies on it to find out the influence of this experience. The other application of virtual reality is a digital twin. Digital twin is a digital counterpart of physical object, and it can be used to visualize different information that actually exists there, but they are kind of data, and you cannot see them, but you can visualize them in virtual reality, and either using them as a educational tool or as a application for the industries. For example, on the left-hand side, you can see the hits a map of the building, and it's on real time. It gets the information from cloud services. And on the right-hand side, users can learn about the vehicle and how to, for example, for mechanical engineer, how the different parts of it is working. Another project that we worked on, it's called KityVR project. It's a part of digital twin, and we simulate some information inside one of the university offices. The environment is similar to one of the university offices, the sun angle and other stuff. In this environment, user can use the inventory system. We made it somehow game-like environment for the inventory system. Can change time of the day to see the influence of the sunlight inside the office and how much it will influence the user feeling and also the perception of the environment. In addition to this one, user can also use a device that I can call it scanner to scan the ground to get some information, for example, about the floor levels and what's already inside it. For example, they can use this scanner, put it on the ground, and after 3 seconds, just for sake of being sure that they want to do this, that section will come up. User can interact with this level by touching it, and this layer of the floor will be opened up and show the information regarding each separated layer. The other part of this KityVR project is similar simulation, but for the outside environment. It's a part of Tograt University, and user can again change time of the day and get the information of the temperature information for different part of this environment for each time of the day. This information is calculated using other software, transferred into the virtual reality using some texture data, and then it's also shows it's color labeled. It means when you change the time of the day, the different colors shows the higher temperature and lower temperature, and you can easily visualize it. The other things that we use in this environment is some visualization using particle system. The main feeling of it is when you are actually wearing the VR device and you have the feeling which area of this square or this exterior environment is more hot or less. And also you can use a drone to have the top-down view of this environment to get more information. The other parts that we implement in the KityVR project, and also we later implement in another one, is data visualization using the typical graphs that we have in the normal visualization or paper visualization. For example, you can use the column graphs to visualize some data related to, for example, energy consumption on this level. We used it also in another project. The other things that we can use is some devices that can be connected to another device to get information inside the virtual reality. It has a little bit of feeling of actual devices in games that we use, but it can be used as a industrial standard also method. Um, uh, One of the last part that virtual reality can be used is in the research. VR can be used either as a tool for doing research or as a topic of the research itself. One of the recent topics that I also published a paper, and you can check it, is using the virtual reality as a topic of the research. For example, testing the application of virtual reality for in VR questionnaire design. If you know, we have the questionnaire for that we use as a paper-based or web-based, but it's important to also implement them inside VR. And in this study, we already checked the influence of using this type of questionnaire on the user perception of the environment and also user answer. We started by simple game in VR to make the user interacted with the environment and then ask them to answer the questionnaire inside the virtual reality. We provide two different types of the in-VR questionnaire. One of them, as you see, it's a 2D questionnaire similar to the traditional one. And the other one is 3D questionnaire that is somehow a virtual device that you interact with different levels, levers and handles to answer the questions. As a conclusion for my presentation, and I hope I didn't run out of the time, it's VR has a variety of application even outside the entertainment industry, because entertainment is a main topic for the VR, and it can provide highly immersive environment to simulate real world condition. It can be used as a collaborative tool and to increase the engagement and also efficiency. And it can be used as a tool either for running a research or for a topic for the research. And I'm sure with the future improvement in VR technology, we can expect more usage for this technology every day. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, great. Thank you very much for this presentation of virtual reality. And now I wish my students to switch on the camera, that they put their questions. Okay, so Michaela, she's a student of the first class of game design. She has prepared one question.
Okay, so hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess there has been a lot of development in the VR field these past years, and I don't know if you know that even Facebook wants to create its own VR platform, and there are a few that already exist for some time. And because VR can create a virtual world where people can socialize, work together, and play. But I wanted to, I guess, ask you if you think there's some human aspect that is lost in VR, like real eye contact, real human touch, and does it really simulate real motor skills?
The point is, you know, during the pandemic, we feel maybe this topic more, that we have access to the maybe social media and also this tool that we are using right now to contact to each other. It's working, but we always feel that there is not an actual person that I'm looking at. It's a monitor only. It will be always like this. You will never have the feeling of the actual people. And it's one of the maybe human aspect of every technology. But the point is, VR is providing us the opportunity to at least reduce the dependency of people on being at the same location. Maybe you need people as a personal aspect, as a social aspect. You would like to contact them in actual life. But for working time, you can really rely on virtual reality to have the efficient workflow, because you do not you can, first of all, you can you can have the eye contact even on VR, because VR devices has an eye tracker, and you can transfer the eye tracking information into the actual human eye tracking. Also, if you check, as you mentioned, the Facebook or Meta is working on the new realistic human parts for their platform, and probably they will also implement this. And they are not only providing the head and hand, they are making the full body full body visualization of the human inside the virtual environment. And if you want to know also more, you do not need to have to wear a full suit of or new clothes to simulate the whole body interactions. You can simulate the whole body interactions only with hands and head movements, because with using the machine learning and artificial intelligence, you can reproduce the actual human body condition with very, very few inputs.
Okay, thank you. Samuel Kozak, he's a student of the second class of game design.
Yes, hello. So my question would be, with virtual reality technology becoming much more available and gaining in popularity, what do you think it will look like in next 5 to 10 years? Maybe what's the next logical evolution for the entire technology of it?
There are something that is personal expectation, and there are something the actual trend. The actual trend is going towards the more consumer-based devices, that everyone has something that is somehow cheap or a little bit more expensive. For example, Apple is also going inside this area. And yeah, absolutely, everyone will go towards it. It will not remove the influence of the current console games or other things, because it's a totally different approach and totally different environment. But it will increase a lot. And if you check the trend of the published paper in recent year, you will see number of papers increasing significantly. I have some reports in some of my papers regarding this, that also the number of the VR devices that sold last year is 2 times more than the previous year. And it means it's a significant improvement. But personally, I think with the current technology and current approach, we will reach to some limits. VR devices are heavy. It means you cannot wear it for more than 30 minutes. They should find a solution for this. It means, do you remember, maybe you do not remember, also I remember hardly, but the first mobile phones, that was something this big, and people cannot use it as a personal device, and yeah, for everyday life. But with improvement in mobile phones and reduce the size, everyone has 1 or 2 of them in their pocket. Virtual reality needs such a this evolution to become more popular as well.
Okay, thank you. And Adam Churko, he's a student of the first class of game design.
Hello, it is me.
Yes.
My question is very similar to Samuel's. Like, okay, availability. But I'm asking more from the economical aspect. Like, let's say this. We are like Slovakia for the last 2 years was on online education. A lot of kids were educated online, including my sister, who was 7 years old at the time, and it it's all right. It works. She's at home. Everyone is safe. All right, but the majority of Slovakia, to say we live on the west, where everything is better. The infrastructure just works, but the majority of Slovakia is really falling behind, and many people don't even have a computer, and this made the online distance education very complicated. And I can't really imagine nowadays to everyone have the VR. When does this become a standard? We are not even in the computer age fully. So when is going to be the step to VR? Because for VR, it's expensive. You need a lot of space for it if you're meaning to use the controllers for oh yeah, I'm gonna write on the board. I can manipulate it with things in the class. My question is if this is already working in some parts of the globe, or how many decades do you think it's gonna take for this to become the new standard?
I will go again towards the mobile phone example and give you some data. For example, I think the first commercially available mobile phone is for before 2000, year 2000, and it's 10 years before that, something like that. Yeah. And if you check the availability of this for the normal people, it takes about 20 years or 25 years that everyone has one mobile phone as a tool to use. When we check the release of the first consumer-based VR device, it's 2013 in the next in the second semester or third semester of 2013. It means we are less than 9 years of this technology. And this technology is something that is a little bit even different than mobile phone, because it's somehow it's very specific. It has a specific usage for now, and it's a little bit in some parts of world they think that it's unnecessary topic to have it. But I believe that it's something exactly like mobile phone that people at the start thinks, okay, we do not need it, but after a while they find out they cannot live without it. It depends on the tools that will develop for this technology and how much it will be available for everyone. If there was no social media, maybe none of us will use mobile phone regularly because it's not meaningful. If there is a good social media for virtual reality, maybe all of us will use it in future. Also about the space that you need for interaction, VR has two different interaction system, always sitting position or standing position. For sitting position, you need only a normal desk. You do not need to even stand up. And also about the price, it's cheaper than PS5. It means everyone that has console, I'm talking about Oculus Quest 2. And it's cheaper than one console. It means it's affordable for many people. I'm not telling everywhere in the world, but it can be affordable for many people in the world. And according to this price, it can be maybe even affordable as a personal device, not as a like mobile phones. Again, a mobile phone, everyone in the one flat has their own individual mobile phone. Maybe later they will have also their VR device.
Okay.
I have some like experience with VR because I own the Valve, the first generation, and I've seen really the price drop. Like we bought it not from like secondhand seller, but we bought it straight up from Valve. It's themselves, and it back in the day it was like 2015 or 16. It costed exactly like 1,100 euros, but nowadays from Valve, it only costs 600, and that's like the official price. Second-hand sellers can go even lower, and now the second generation Valve Index is at that price. The first generation was a couple years back, so I think that's really crazy. And yeah, like the price is declining.
And also Valve is not a it's a little bit higher quality VR device. It's aiming a specific range of gamers. I have also one with Valve Index beside me here on the desk, and because it knows they knows that the people that waiting for Half-Life Alyx, they will spend money for Valve Index to experience it. It's something like this. But we should think more about consumer-based devices and more affordable ones. And Facebook is going towards it, and also I'm sure other companies will go towards.
Okay, thank you for answers. Thank you for your presentation.